All right, 5.8, sorry, 3. All right, so here, now we're doing with, we're in intercept form. So remember, we're going to look at each one of these to find the x-intercepts. So 2x, that means an intercept of 0, right there. X plus 3, if you set it equal to 0, that's going to give you -3. And x minus 2 is going to give you +2, right? Now, since we have 1, 2, 3 x's, that's going to be a cubic function. It is positive, so remember, it's going to have this basic shape, all right? The lead coefficient is that 2. It is cubic. 3 is an odd number. We already said cubic. If you look at the rough sketch I just said, we get a general shape of it, but if you go to your calculator and give it a look, you can get a few other points, and this is going to be horrible, but you get the gist. Again, not going to grade it perfectly on needing to be perfect, but just get the general idea of it. Now, on multiplicity, we look at the x-intercepts, which are, again, -3, 0, and 2. And since it goes through each one of them, it's a multiplicity of 1. There is no bouncing. All right. Now on this one, notice we have a 2 and a 2. So that is going to be 4, which is an even number. And that's quartic. Okay. Lead coefficient is going to be this -1 out here. And then x minus 2 set equals 0 is going to give us +2. X plus 1 is going to give us -1. Now remember, with the 4, it's either going to be an m or a w. Being that it's negative, it's going to be an m. All right. And again, with it being squared, that means it's bouncing off that number. You will see on the calculator it has a y-intercept of -4. Gives you a little bit of guidance. Now we're going to come up here, bounce off of here, come down through there, bounce off of there, and come back down. And so we have two numbers. We have -1 and +2, and they both bounce, so it's a multiplicity of 2. Right? Here, we have our lead coefficient of -2. This is a 2, that's a 1, that's a 3, which is odd, cubic. All right? My x-intercepts are going to be -4 and -1. This one is going to be a bounce, okay? And again, since it's a negative cubic, we're going to have this general shape, all right? And you will see on the calculator, you'll maybe get -8 as a y-intercept, something to guide you as we draw up, hit this -1, and bounce and come back up. Any points you get off the graphing calculator that are easy to graph, it just helps you draw a little bit better graph, but that's it. Now, the x -1, it bounces, so it has a multiplicity of 2, and this one has a multiplicity of 1. All right, number 4. Now this one we have to factor. Okay, so we're going to do it by 2's. Okay, the first one, we're going to factor out an x squared. And that's going to give us x plus 3. Remember, we get to cheat and put x plus 3 over here. And then we just ask, what do I need to divide this by to get +1? Well, that would be a -4. Put those two together. That's x squared minus 4 and x plus 3. And I'm just going to put my answer down here. This is going to factor as a difference of squares into x plus 2, x minus 2. And then the x plus 3. You can see these are all 1's. So lead coefficient is 1. There are 3 x's. That is an odd number. That's a cubic. My intercepts are going to be -2, +2, and -3. So -3, -2, and +2. So those two are going to be really close together. When we look at the graph, it's going to come up, barely come up a little bit, come back down. It's below the 10 and comes back up. Which means since it went through all of them, There's no doubles, there's no bouncing, all the multiplicity of 1. All right, this one's going to factor, again, just imagine this was a 2 and this was a 1. It's going to factor the same way. It's going to factor in 2 numbers that multiply to 9, that add to 10. Well, that's 9 and 1. Okay, so these are going to be x squareds. And since this is negative, these are both going to be negative. Right? Which means those are going to both break down into different squares, which is x plus 3, x minus 3, x plus 1, x minus 1. So there's my 4 intercepts, negative 3, negative 1, 1, and 3. There's no repeats. These are all going to have multiplicity of 1. So negative 3, negative 1, positive 1, positive 3. That's a little messy. Being that this is a positive, whoops, it's going to be a W. Okay. If you look at your graph, your table, you're going to have a number up here of 0, 9 as a y-intercept. So it's going to come down, dip a little bit below, come back down, dip a little bit below, and go up. Okay. The lead coefficient is 1. The degree is 4, which is an even number. That's quartic again. We have a lot of quartics and cubics. That's it. This one again, we're going to factor by grouping. We're going to take out an x squared. That's going to leave us with x plus 3. I get to cheat and write the x plus 3 over here. What do I need to divide this by to get 1x? That'd be negative 9. That gives me x squared minus 9. X plus 3. Now the x squared minus 9 is going to break down to x plus 3, x minus 3, and we have this extra x plus 3 over here. Notice that this and this could also be written as x plus 3 squared. All right, so what does that mean? That means we're going to have negative 3 and positive 3 for our intercepts. Right here and right here. Okay, this is a positive cubic. Which again is going to look generally like this. And if we look at it, it's going to bounce off of here. It's going to come down below the 10, negative 10, and go back up here to the 3. So you can see it bounces off the negative 3, goes through the positive 3, and that is